Alright, so how has life been going for me since entering the world of the Hackintosh? Stay tuned. What's up everybody, it's PJ the Great. I hope you're having a super beautiful day, and today I am going to do a follow-up video on building my first Hackintosh. I want to share with all you guys and gals how it's been so far. I think it's been like a couple of weeks since I've built my Hackintosh, and let's go over the deets. Alright, so since the initial build of my Hackintosh, and if you guys and gals haven't checked out that video, I'll link it right up here somewhere so you can check it out. I have done a couple of more upgrades. I have gone from that HP sleeper case and I put it into a Gemini M case with the RGB on the front. Love that case. And then I also upgraded the cooler to a Johnsbow RGB cooler just to give it a little bit more bling, and it actually helped with cooling performance too. So happy with those two upgrades. So that's what's been done so far. So how has it been running since the build? Okay, so the first thing that I reported on is that when I initially built it, there were lags, and I didn't know what that was all about. I chalked it up to it being the Core i3. Come to find out that it wasn't. I don't know if something had to marinate after building the Hackintosh, but after like a couple of days, everything was like buttery smooth. I mean, I could multitask. Final Cut Pro is running like a dream, and exporting times they're like 3 times faster than what I was used to on my 2010 Mac Pro. So this Core i3 is not holding this Hackintosh back at all. It has been a smooth process with the 16 gigabytes of RAM as well. Super smooth, and is performing shockingly better than my 2010 Mac Pro. Now, as I mentioned, working in Final Cut Pro has been a dream. Exporting, amazing. Timeline, buttery smooth. I want to share some numbers with you that are quite shocking to me, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this chart on the screen right now to show you what I'm talking about. Now, if you look at these numbers, and I use Geekbench 4 to do this because that would be fair apples to apples, no pun intended, comparison, considering that was the last bench that I did on 2010 Mac Pro was Geekbench 4, and this Hackintosh is outperforming my 2010 Mac Pro. Now let's think about that for a second. That's a 10-year-old machine, yes it is, but it has a Intel Xeon 3.46 gigahertz processor in there, 6 cores, 12 threads, in comparison to a Core i3, what is that, 8100T, 4 cores, 4 threads, 16 gigabytes of 3000 megahertz RAM, but it's only running at 2400 megahertz compared to 64 gigabytes of RAM, 1333. So when you look at those comparisons there, yes, the 2010 Mac Pro has older hardware, it does, but pitting a 6-core 12-thread processor up against a 4-core 4-thread processor and 16 gigabytes of RAM against 64 gigabytes of RAM, and the Hackintosh is beating it, that's insane to me, especially when you look at the multi-core scores. How are the multi-core scores beating out a processor that actually has hyper-threading? It's insane to me, but it just lets me know that choosing the Core i3 was a wise choice, because I just wanted something that was going to perform better than the 2010 Mac Pro, especially in Final Cut Pro 10, and this Core i3 is giving it to me. So with all that said and done, everything is cupcakes and rainbows. Absolutely love my Hackintosh, and I am so glad that I built it. And just a news flash, this was supposed to be like my original build when I was going to build myself a computer. It was going to be the ultimate Hackintosh, but I ended up getting wrapped up into the PC master race and built the ultimate PC, at least the ultimate PC for me. So this one's not on the same level as Baby Blue, but man, the way that it's performing, and it's performing better than my Mac Pro, the kid is happy. I am happy. So, am I going to do any more upgrades? Well, I kind of already have. So I ran out and I purchased this bad boy right here. This is an Intel Core i5 9th gen. What is it? The 9400. So this one has integrated graphics in it. And the reason why I picked this one with the integrated graphics is because it's going to give me much better performance than Final Cut Pro 10, because Final Cut takes advantage of integrated graphics along with a dedicated GPU to give you accelerated exporting. So that's the reason why I picked this bad boy up, and there was another reason why I picked it up too. We'll get into that. And then I also added 16 gigabytes more RAM, so now I'm up to 32 gigabytes of RAM. So 6 cores, 6 threads, Core i5, and 32 gigabytes of RAM. And the performance, man, this is a little scary. So in regards to the performance in Final Cut Pro 10, which is the main reason why I did this upgrade, it is even more smooth, or smoother I should say, of a performance and experience in Final Cut Pro 10, up in the RAM and up in the processor. And the exporting times are like, it seems like it's way faster now than it was when I had the Core i3. I mean, this machine is rivaling the experience that I'm having in DaVinci Resolve Studio 16 on Baby Blue, my PC, and that's using NVIDIA encoding for faster exporting. And this thing is like right up there with it in regards to how fast it can export videos. So I'm really happy with that performance. This was an upgrade that was totally worth it. Cost me roughly $150 for the CPU upgrade, and then another $66 for the RAM. So it was totally worth it. Sell the Core i3, offset the cost. You know how I roll. So with all that being said, with all the upgrades that I've done to my Hackintosh, as you can tell, I'm actually kind of loving it. I didn't think I would be saying this, but your boy is moving back to Final Cut Pro 10 as my primary NLE. I've always preferred Final Cut Pro 10. I absolutely love DaVinci Resolve Studio 16. I have to love it. I invested $300 into it. It was really good, and I liked it because my PC was performing a lot better than my 2010 Mac Pro. But now, since I got a Hackintosh that is like kicking ass in numbers, and let me show you these numbers on the screen in comparison to my 2010 Mac Pro. It is like wiping the floor with my 2010 Mac Pro, and it's almost at the same level as Baby Blue. I mean, it's killing Baby Blue in single core performance, and it's just slightly under Baby Blue in multi-core, of course, because it's only 6 core 6 thread, whereas I got a Ryzen 7 2700, which is 8 cores 16 threads. But now, since I got this performance and it's amazing, and I'm getting those super fast exporting times, your boy's moving back full time to Final Cut Pro 10. Now, I'm not turning my back on DaVinci Resolve Studio 16 because I invested money into it, so I will be doing some video edits here and there in that software, but primarily, especially for this YouTube channel, Final Cut Pro 10 is my jam again. Now, as I had mentioned before, everything can't be cupcakes and rainbows, and there are some shortcomings with my Hackintosh in particular. Some things, some little issues that I'm having, and I'm gonna try and fix them, but for now it's not a deal breaker, so I'm not really gonna worry about it. The first issue that I'm having is it will not properly shut down. If I click on the little Apple logo and I click shut down, the computer restarts. It will not shut down. And I actually tried to do some homework online, and I found a YouTube video by a guy that I won't name, but he gave some instructions on how to fix this. I followed those instructions to the letter and bricked my machine. So I had to take the SSD out, put it back onto my laptop, fix it using Clover Configurator, and got it back up and running again. So it will not properly shut down. I have to hold down the power button to get it to power off But hey, that's no big deal. I'm not even worried about that. The other issue that I'm having is I do not have a boot screen. Now, I could have a boot screen, but I sacrificed that so that I could get the ultimate experience within Final Cut Pro 10. And the only way that I could get that is by telling the motherboard that I was primarily using integrated graphics. And in doing so, when I have all of my monitors hooked up to my GPU, no boot screen until it loads up and it's ready for me to sign in to Mac OS. Now, if I plug one of the monitors into the onboard graphics via the motherboard, the boot screen is there. But once I get into Mac OS, then I lose one out of the 3 monitors that I'm using. So I just have no boot screen. Not worried about it. Like I said, I was used to it with my 2010 Mac Pro, so it's not really a big deal, especially when I'm getting the kind of performance that I'm getting out of Final Cut Pro 10. So I can live with that. I'll live with it. Another hiccup I'm having, and this really doesn't have anything to do with Hackintoshing. It has everything to do with macOS Catalina, is that my old Zyxel NAS that I did a review on, I'll link it right up there if you want to check it out, doesn't work in Catalina. Does not work. And I did some research to figure out why it's not working. Come to find out, with Catalina, SMB 1 and 2 is no longer supported. I don't know why Apple decided to do this. And my Zyxel NAS is on SMB 2, so it will not pick up my Zyxel NAS. That is a pain in the NAS. For real, because like that's where I keep all of my footage for my YouTube videos and any other video and photography projects that I do outside of this channel. I'll save everything on my NAS, and I can't even access my NAS from my Hackintosh. Nothing to do with the Hackintosh, everything to do with macOS Catalina. And that sucks. It sucks so much that I was even flirting around with going back to Mojave just so I could have it. Mojave. Apple has made me start saying Mojave. It's Mojave. And the last downfall that I've had with this Hackintosh, and it seems like right after I built it and got it stable, a week later, Catalina 10.15.5 came out. And I'm a little intimidated to update to it because I don't want to brick my machine. And I did say in the original video I wasn't even going to worry about that. I'm just going to wait until the next Mac OS comes out, which is what I'm going to do. I don't think I'm going to mess around with it. It's running fine as is, so not really a big issue. I mean, I want to, because why wouldn't you want to have the latest OS? But it's no big deal. I mean, it's running just fine with the current version that it has right now, so I'm not even going to worry about that. Alright, so that is the story on my Hackintosh. I absolutely love it. Love it. It's got me back into Final Cut Pro 10. I'm so happy with that. And I'm down with Mac OS. Absolutely. I'm still down with the PC Master Race. That's still my primary choice, so don't worry about that. But it feels good to actually have a Mac computer that is up to date and speedy and gives me all the performance that I wanted and needed out of Final Cut Pro 10. I just wish I would have done this before I spent $300 on DaVinci Resolve Studio 16, but oh well, c'est la vie. Am I going to do any more upgrades? I said before that I wasn't going to, and then I ended up doing it, but I don't foresee any more upgrades. I don't know why I would need to upgrade this thing any more than what it is right now, because it's performing at the level that I needed to perform at. I mean, I'm running an RX 578 gigabyte. You really don't need anything more than that as a video editor and a photo editor. There is no need for me to run out and get a RX 5600, 5700. No need for that. RX 578 gigabyte video editing, perfectly fine. As far as the processor is concerned, like I've flirted around with, I was on AliExpress and I'm seeing like sellers have like Core i9 9900 engineering samples for like $250. And I'm like, man, that's a pretty good deal. Maybe but I don't think I'm gonna do it. I don't think I'm gonna do it. The Core i5 is like fine enough. I don't think I'm gonna need any more RAM than 32 gigabytes of RAM. To be honest with you, anything higher than that is overkill. I know I threw 64 gigabytes into Baby Blue, and yes, that was overkill. Not making that mistake again. And I might flirt around with that Doom case, that Kickstarter that they built this case that looks exactly like the 2019 Mac Pro. I might flirt around with that and picking up that case to replace the Gemini M. But I think the last time I checked, they were looking for $250 for that case, and they were sold out. I'm not spending $250 for a case just because it looks like a 2019 Mac Pro. I'm cool with the case that I have right now, just as long as Mac OS is running like a charm, which it is. I don't really care about that. I like this case, and it was only $60, so I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Alright, and before I wrap this video up, I just want to say one thing. A couple of YouTubers have done videos on it, dedicated videos. I'm just going to put it at the end of this video. There's this company out there that stole the OpenCore name, and they're selling Hackintoshes. And there was another company, I think it was called Leica or Lycra or something like that, tried to do this years back. Apple cracked down on it, got them out of there. And the same thing is going to happen with this OpenCore company, and it kind of like pisses me off because it hurts the enthusiasts of Hackintoshes, because it brings it on the radar of Apple, and it will probably make them want to really crack down a little bit more on it. They've been turning their cheek at the Hackintosh community, and this is just bringing it back out into the spotlight. And I have a funny gut feeling that that's what this OpenCore company wanted to do. They wanted to put the Hackintosh community on blast, and for some reason they have it out for the real OpenCore that has the new way to create a Hackintosh. That's just my personal opinion on it. I'm mad at it, and I hope that Apple does shut these people down. But in the same breath, I hope that Apple doesn't shut down the Hackintosh community, because I just got into it and I really like it, and it would suck that one asshole of a company would have to do something like this to ruin it for everybody else. Hey, if you like this video, do me a favor and give it a big old thumbs up. But if you hated it, you can give it a thumbs down. But no matter what you do, don't forget to click that subscribe button and click the bell right next to it, so you'll be notified every time I upload new videos. The next video is going to be my update on overclocking Baby Blue, my PC. I still need to get into that and let you guys and gals know how that experience has been going, and that video is going to be coming soon. And I know I said it before and I'll say it again, I will get some ADHD videos produced. I just recently went back to work, what was it, like 3 weeks ago, and I'm telecommuting from home, and I got a video idea for that, so that has had me like super busy, so I apologize, but consistency is coming back. And until I see you in the next video, this is PJ the Great saying Audi 5000 G. And yes, please, for the love of all things technology and computers, don't buy a computer from this OpenCore company.